Hello everybody and welcome to this Tutor to You revision live stream focusing on the BTEC Tech Award, looking specifically at component 3. Tonight we're going to be looking at questions 1 to 10 focused on factors and life events. My name is Lynne and I'm joined with me this evening with my colleague Rachel, who's going to help us work through some of the revision activities. Hi Rachel.
Hi, good evening everyone. Nice to have you.
So the reason why Rachel and I look so ridiculous is today is Christmas jumper day. So I hope maybe you've had the chance to wear your Christmas jumpers today to school or college. So yes, you've got approximately 41 days if you are taking the component 3 exam in January. So we want to support you with your revision. So this evening we're going to work through a series of PowerPoint games where we're going to do lots of retrieval practice on the knowledge that you have about factors and life events. Okay, so this is specifically questions 1 to 10 in your component 3 exam. Okay, so Rachel, are you ready? Shall we get started?
I'm ready. Definitely.
Okay, so what I would like is people to comment in the chat as we go through the questions and we can see whether your answers match ours that we have on the screen. So let's start with the first questions. I think we've got some bubble quizzes to start with. So first of all, we are going to play a bubble quiz game where the numbers of answers that are correct can range from 0 to all 4. Okay, so one of these answers could be correct, 2 or 3 or all of them. And your job is to identify the correct answers. So let's have a look at our first.
So we can see. Yes, put them in the chat,
absolutely.
Please.
So which of these is a social factor? So we've got physical activity, religion, bullying, and gender identity. So which of these are or is a social factor? What do we think? So I'm seeing some. Yeah, go on.
Yes, I was just going to say, have a think about how we remember what social factors are as well. Okay, so they're factors relating to people, interactions, relationships. Oh, excellent. We have a C. We have a C, which is bullying. Excellent. Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else
Yeah.
for
So
putting an answer in?
thank you. We've got C.
Thank you.
Because I'm
We
feeling
have.
like that might be quite a good answer, because physical activity feels like that relates to physical factors, doesn't it? So let's see the answers. Let's see what we've got. Yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Well done. Well done. Excellent. Really good.
Bullying, absolutely. So the other two, you've got your B and D, religion and gender identity. They are a different type of factor. Let's move on to the next question and see whether we can help find out what that is. So which of these are cultural factors?
Cultural factors.
So we have discrimination, gender roles and expectations, social inclusion and exclusion, or sexual orientation. So which of these are cultural factors? Is it A, B, C, or D, or all of them? Let us know in the chat what you're thinking.
Yeah, it could be more than one as well. So it could be more than one. So what have we got? What do we think? Keeping in mind that...
Rachel, Rachel, sorry. I was going to say, what I find, I don't know whether you do, is that people really get cultural and social factors muddled together.
They do. So, and that's how I try and... sorry.
Go on, you go, Rachel.
Oh, no, sorry. I just suggest to my students to try and remember social is about our interactions and relationships and behaviours around that. So I try and help them to try and identify social and separate culture with religion. Oh, I don't want to give too much away, but yes, separate culture. Using the key knowledge about culture and how it links to factors. Okay, so we've got B. Yep. Good. Yes, I'm liking that one. I'm really liking that one. That's a good one.
Should we have a look at the answer for this one then? So brilliant. So in the chat we had B, so that's great.
Yeah, we did.
So also sexual orientation is a cultural factor. So just be really clear in when you're doing your revision, what's social, what's cultural. Make sure you're really clear about the difference between those. So for cultural, you could have also had religion, community participation, and gender identity as well for culture. Okay. And in your social factors, it's more those supportive and unsupportive relationships, social inclusion and exclusion, bullying and discrimination. Okay. So absolutely, as Rachel says, social factors about those relationships and how they work. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so which of these could be a negative effect of sickle cell disease? So damage to organs, increased financial resources, absence from school, or getting infections. So which of these could be a negative effect of sickle cell disease? And so shall we remind ourselves about what, sorry, Rachel, I was going to say about what sickle cell disease. Let's remind ourselves about what it is. Inherited condition. Okay, so it's a physical factor and it's an inherited condition. And it's when the red blood cells become sickle shaped, so shaped a bit like bananas rather than shaped like round, like donuts, how they should be. And that can lead to things like, let's have a look on the screen, what we think. So in the chat, we've got absence from school.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any more there as well. Okay, keeping in mind that we have pain in joints. We're more susceptible to other illnesses as well with sickle cell. So we might have pain in joints. Okay, so excellent. Well done. We have got C. Really good. Really good. There's definitely some others there, I think, that might be suited to this physical factor of sickle cell disease.
Yeah, let's reveal them then. So well done if you said C.
Yeah.
Also, absolutely, as Rachel talked about, in terms of there can be damage to organs, there can be pain, there can be tiredness from a physical perspective, and also there could be absence from school, getting infections as well. So think about the effect. When you're thinking about negative effects, it can be across any of the pies. Okay, it can be a physical, intellectual, social, or emotional effect.
Yeah, and that B, there's a bit of a clue, I guess, in that one, increased financial resources. So that would come under an economic factor. So if you're talking about money or employment opportunities or income, that would come under an economic factor.
Brilliant. So, and let's have a look. Have we got one more of the bubbles? I think we have. This is our last bubble one.
We do.
So which of these could be a positive effect of community participation? So we talked about community participation being a cultural factor. So which of these are a positive effect? Is it increased confidence, sense of belonging, increased self-esteem, or sense of purpose? What do you think? So what have we got in the chat?
Quite a lot there. Yes, it's good. There's lots there leaning towards our emotional well-being or our emotional development. Which ones do we think? Alice, you think B, sense of belonging? Very good. Anything else? Does anyone want to contribute any other suggested answers?
So is it just sense of belonging, or is there more than one here, perhaps? If you're getting involved in community participation, yay, we've got in the chat all of them. Yes, absolutely. So well done.
Yep, definitely.
All of these are correct. So excellent. So just remember all of those effects, practice the factor, and what's the effect of different aspects. Okay, so
make sure you're remembering your. Oh, sorry. Make sure you remember your questions as well. So it's really important to read. Are they looking for a positive or negative effect? Are they looking for a particular aspect of health and well-being? So if you have a question that asks you about health and well-being, that's wonderful because you can talk about all the pies or any of the pies or all of the pies. And also, if you are asked about social well-being or mental well-being or physical well-being, you've got to stick to that wonderful terminology that links directly to that aspect of health and development. So make sure you're reading the questions carefully and looking at positives and negatives and which aspect of pies the question's asking you for.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got a few more people joined us. So hi, everyone. Good. So let's have a look then at the next activity. So I'm going to ask you here to give me 2 effects that smoking can have on health and well-being. Okay, so you've got 30 seconds to write in the chat 2 effects that smoking can have on health and well-being. Let's go.
Okay, don't be shy, come forward.
So even just one effect would be great.
Oh, yeah, okay. Very good. Thank you. We've got one, excellent. Leading to a respiratory condition.
Okay, brilliant. So 30 seconds is up. So thinking about those effects that smoking can have, mainly probably think about this from a physical perspective. I mean, you could think about it socially as well. So we've got in the chat increased chances of cardiovascular disease. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, so, well done. Yeah. And the respiratory system. Anything around the respiratory system is really good as well. So asthma, bronchitis, lung cancers, breathing difficulties, emphysema. There's a lot of options around the respiratory system. So well done, really good. And obviously links to cardiovascular disease. Excellent answers. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Shall we see what we've got on the slide then? So our effects here are, we've kind of gone for the obvious ones here for you. Risk of lung cancer. Yeah. And don't forget, increase in blood pressure. So if you're a smoker, you're more likely to have an increase in blood pressure. And the official term there is hypertension. Okay. And don't forget, obviously, your increase in blood pressure is one of the factors where you have cardiovascular disease. It leads to that. Okay.
Good. Well done.
Brilliant. Okay. Next activity. We've had a look at smoking. Right. This one's a little bit more tricky. We're going to get you thinking a bit harder tonight. So we have a connection wall, and I'm going to show you 16 phrases on this wall, and you've got to group them into 4 groups of 4 based on their common connection. Okay, so I'm going to flash up on the screen the 16 phrases now, and you need to think about what groups them together. Okay, and then just write in the chat, as soon as you've got a group, just write 4 words that you've got and the reason why they link together. Okay, so just have a think. There's quite a lot of words to take in here.
Can I give you a clue? This is more around factors. So think about your categories of factors for these ones. These are examples, but the grouping will be a category of factors. Okay, so have a look. You might need a little bit of time for these.
Yeah, and this really testing, really that knowledge around factors. You need to revise what terms go into what factors section. That's really important for you to do well in questions, probably 1 to 7 or 1 to 8 in the exam. If you know your factors really well and what goes into each category, that will really help you. And then also you can then obviously have to talk about the effects of those factors. But knowing your categories is a really good start. So has anybody got a category for me, or should we start you off? I'm quite happy to start you off, actually.
Yeah.
So Rachel, I'm going to challenge
Sure.
you.
Sure.
And I'm going to be quite specific, actually, in my challenge. So I'm going to challenge you and ask you to tell me which ones you think are physically related. So physical factors.
Okay. So for physical, I'm immediately thinking the impact on the body. I'm immediately thinking which ones have a direct link to my physical health and physical well-being. So I'm going to go with physical abilities. That's going to be one for me. I'm also going to add in sensory impairments as well. That's going to be another one for me that has a direct effect on my physical well-being and my physical health. Conditions, I think my inherited conditions, my genetic conditions that I can have, that makes a direct link for me. And if I go to column D, I'm going to have a look. I think physical and mental ill health, but the clue was really, if I'm honest, the clue in that one was physical ill health. So all of those ones I think fall under the physical category because they have a direct effect on my physical health. So that's what I'm going to go. But we've got some answers actually. So
Rachel, just before we go to the answers, I know if we click the slide now, we can see if you were right.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So brilliant. Let's just see if you're right. So we've got one. So we're on a roll. And absolutely, Rachel, what can you see in the chat? Tell us.
Okay, so I've got I'm going to go with the first one that's come up is environment. So environment, we've got the clues of everything that's around us, haven't we? So we've got the different types of pollution. There are 3 different types of pollution that you will need to know for your environmental factors, and we've got 2 listed here. So well done. We've got air pollution and we've got noise pollution. So that's fantastic for environment. This person's also given us housing conditions and housing location. So I think that's a really brilliant answer for environment. Thank you for sharing. We'll move to the next one, which is economical or economic factors. We've got employment situation, which has a direct relationship with income and money, doesn't it? If we're working or not working, or what type of job that we have. We've got inheritance, which is what you receive through the passing of someone, if you have a bereavement of someone. And then with economic factors, we've still got income and savings. So these are brilliant. These are amazing. Well done. And then we've been given the final answers, I think, which are our social factors of bullying, social inclusion and exclusion, which we've had a look at the start of this session. We have got employment situation there as well. And we've got supportive and unsupportive relationships. So well done. With bullying and social inclusion and exclusion are definitely brilliant, and supportive and unsupportive relationship as well. So well done. I would probably throw in discrimination there maybe, but let's just see. Let's see, but well done. Yeah, really good answers. So fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, so let's have a look then. So if we click onto our next slide, we can see the social factors. So absolutely. So you popped in somebody said employment situation in social, and actually it's not employment. It's not employment situation. It actually is discrimination, but really excellent attempt there because you got 3 of the factors. So that's absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look at our next one. And then we've got environmental factors. So we've got our housing conditions, air pollution, housing location, and noise pollution. So that's fab. And then our last one are our economic factors. So brilliant. So well done. So can you see all those categories there? It's really important that you know what goes into what category. So make sure you're really accurate with your revision around those areas. Great job, everyone.
Yeah, well done. Really good. There are obviously more examples within those categories as well. We've just given you a few. So you'd have access to healthcare, could be environmental one as well. Don't forget you've got the different pollution of light pollution as well, which is a not so common one, but it's a really important one to know about. There's a few other examples, but these are some to make a start on.
Brilliant. Well done. So so let's have a look then. So our next activity, that was a thinking hard one. So we now have our connection spinner. So what we want you to do with this one is you're going to think about what are the positive effects. So sometimes in your question, you might be asked negative effects or positive effects? So read the question really carefully. So we've got, what are the positive effects of regular physical activity and exercise on? So we are going to spin the spinner and see what we're referring to in terms of exercise on. So if we click to the next slide, we will then be able to determine what are the positive effects of regular physical activity and exercise on. And we're going to spin. And what do we want to know? So on physical health and well-being. Okay. So in the chat,
pop them in the chat.
You can have a think about, So if you regularly exercise or regularly do physical activity, like regularly going for a walk, for example, how does that benefit your physical health and well-being? Tell us, what's a positive outcome of that? Let us know. So
you might want to think about muscles, bones, fitness, cardiovascular health as some tips, maybe. So if you can get some comments in the chat, that'd be really good. Yeah, excellent. Reduces the risk of obesity. Yeah, there's a number of different diseases and illnesses and conditions that we are less likely to. Good mental health. Yeah, very good. The only thing is I just think a little bit more about physical health. Okay, so you're right. We would experience good mental health, but our little spinner has asked for us to focus on physical only. Okay, thank you. We've got, fantastic answers. We have better cardiovascular fitness, reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Really good. Yeah, well done. Excellent.
Brilliant.
Anything else? What about muscles and bones? Anything on muscles and bones? Do you think we'll have stronger bones? Yep. Experience strength in muscles as well, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's flick up. Let's put what our answers are. Let's have a look. You've got all of them, so that's brilliant. So you've talked about cardiovascular fitness. Oh, sorry, no, we didn't talk about mobility, did we? So actually, one of the real benefits of doing regular physical activity and exercise is you've got that improved mobility. So you're a lot more agile, and you've also things like strength and stamina that comes from that as well, and your strong bones and muscles.
With mobility, you can also discuss, if this was more of an explanation question, you can talk about, increased mobility to, carry out daily tasks with ease. Okay, so moving around with ease. Okay, less chance of getting illnesses such as arthritis. Yeah, very good. Yep, good, excellent. So lots of, quite a significant reduction in obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis. Yeah, really good. Yeah, so making sure you remember some of those illnesses.
We've got in the chat as well, reduced likelihood of DVT, so deep vein thrombosis. If you're moving around a lot, you're less likely to get that from being a very sedentary in one place. So let's have a look then. Let's flick our spinner again and have the same question, but we're going to look at what are the positive effects of regular physical activity and exercise on. And let's have a look this time on our emotional well-being. Okay, so if you regularly do physical activity, get out there and exercise, how does that benefit you emotionally? Let's have a look in the chat. People have already talked about good mental health.
They have.
So that's great. Yeah. So let's unpick that then. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I was going to encourage you all to think about breaking down emotional health and emotional development terms. So thinking about self-concept, self-esteem, self-image, confidence. Just think about some of that really important terminology that you will need to use in your examiners or people that are marking your papers. They'll want to see that excellent terminology rather than just saying they'll feel good, which is obviously true, but that actually there are much more improved answers that we could use. So wouldn't depend as much on people for emotional support. Yes, but I would try and draw that one back to mental health, because people will have a higher self-esteem maybe, or people will be more confident. So that's a good answer, but that links when you've sort of the start of your answer suggests it's a little bit more social. So you might want to bring it back to why they're going to have improved mental health or improved, emotional well-being. But it's a good start. Yeah, increased self-concept. Well done. Yeah, really good. Yep. Any more?
see if there's any more, and we can bring up our answers and see if they match yours. Let's have a little look. So absolutely, as Rachel's talked about, that key terminology, those lovely juicy health and social care words. So we've got improved mood, confidence, self-concept, and reduced stress. So, try and use that terminology. Don't be vague in your answers. You've got to be really specific. And I would probably write, more than one as well, example, so then you're more likely to pick up the marks.
With the mood one, that does improve mood because it helps release endorphins. So I don't know if you've heard of those terms, but they release the feel-good hormones, which is endorphins. That could be linked to mood if you need to expand further on mood. And I like yours, Charlotte. So body neutrality or having a healthy body image as well would improve confidence. I think that's what you might be saying. So you'd be maintaining it. If someone's participating in regular physical activity, they're likely to maintain a healthy body weight. That's therefore going to increase confidence or how they feel about themselves, which is self-esteem. So I do like that, Charlotte. I just tried to draw on it a little bit more about linking it back to confidence. So well done.
Yeah, really like that. Well done. Okay, so let's try a different activity now. We're going to have a little look. So we're going to move on to life events. Okay, so life events tend to be questions 8, 9, and 10 in your exam paper. And you're going to be asked about life events and then how they affect maybe people's social or emotional development. Okay, so we've got 3 categories here: physical events, relationship changes, and life circumstances. We've got some examples and we want you to put them into the right category. Okay, I'm just going to give you a little hint here that one of the categories has 2 answers and the other 2 categories have 3 answers. Okay, so you've got 60 seconds to try and put them into a category. So we're going to press the timer and try and write in the chat each time you think you've got a category. What goes into physical events, write it. What goes into relationships, write it. Okay, so have a think here. What is a physical event? These tend to be the main categories that come up in terms of life events. So you're not probably going to get any examples that really fit outside of these. So it's good to get yourself thinking about these different things that can happen to people. And then we can unpick the impact on health and well-being.
Okay. And can we get any in the chat? We haven't got any in chat just yet. Time's running out.
And Rachel, I was going to say, often in these questions, they do specify the impact on what type of pies. So they might say on your social development, or they might say on your emotional development. So often these questions tend to be quite specific.
Yes.
Okay, so it might be, what's the impact of parenthood on your social well-being, for example? So you do get quite specific questions. So Rachel, have we got anyone?
Okay, yes,
go on?
We do indeed. We are going to make a start with relationship changes. So the one in the middle we've got, and the response we've got is divorce, bereavement, and parenthood. Well done. That's really good. So we've got physical events has popped up as well, which is accident. I'm not sure I would categorize moving house into physical events though. So again, coming back to physical, try and think about the body. Okay, that's what I always encourage my students to remember. Physical is about the body. So to me, accident and ill health would probably come into that category. And we've got life circumstances, which was 8, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Yeah, we've got quite a few in there. Remembering there was only 3 for each, 2 for one category, and 3 for the others. But we are definitely on the right track. So we've got some really good answers. We'll make a start with relationship changes, divorce, bereavement, and parenthood. Definitely, they are definitely changes that occur as a result of a relationship, aren't they? So divorce is obviously separation. Bereavement is the loss of a loved one or someone close to you. And parenthood would be obviously expanding your family and having a baby. So embarking on the new journey of expanding your family and having a child. So that they're right. They're brilliant. So should we get the answers up and have a look?
Yeah, let's get the answers. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if you're right. So absolutely. So accident, ill health, or physical events. And also, did you see there was a little subtle hidden one there that was sudden illness? That could have been under there as well. So relationship changes, absolutely, as Rachel said, divorce, parenthood, and bereavement. And then your life circumstances, moving house, starting school, and retirement. So these are the types of things that are likely to come up in your questions around life events. And you have to talk about what the impact would be, most likely on social or emotional well-being. Okay.
You might
So
also, sorry to jump in, you might also
yeah,
see this question in your 6 marker as well. So you might have some of these events happen in your 6 marker question, your
very true.
synoptic question, um, and you would need to discuss the impact that has on them fulfilling one of their targets or recommendations. So that you might see these life events in your synoptic 6 mark questions as well. So make sure you are really aware, as Lynne said, make sure really aware of the impact that has on health and well-being, and more specifically social and emotional well-being. So well done.
Brilliant. That's a great point,
Good.
actually, Rachel. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Right, so a bit of fun now. So we're going to give you a picture and a statement, and you have to work out what the picture's showing and what the statement means, and then that you smash them together, and that produces a word or a term. Okay, so here, let's start with the term. So what does it mean when you have the use of persuasion or intimidation to make someone do something? Okay, so you're not controlling them, but what might you be doing if you're using the use of persuasion or intimidation to make someone do something? And then on the left, what is that image of? What is it? And then you put that word that you've come up with from the picture with the word with the statement, and what do you think the word smash is? Anybody feeling brave tonight? Or even if you just know one of them, that might help us
Yes.
piece it together.
So 2
let's
words
have a
here. There's some clues. Maybe if you can see that image on the left, there's like little platelets in there, I think it might be, or cells, red and white blood cells, maybe. That might be a clue. It might look like red and white blood cells. It's not a really bad Christmas decoration, I don't think.
I know, it kind of matches our
I
outfits,
did.
doesn't it? You know
I know
what?
it does, doesn't it?
I think we should
Okay,
show
we'll
people
give this
this one
one.
to get people
Okay,
going. Yeah,
right,
so it's
right,
blood
blood.
pressure. So on the left, you've got a
Yeah,
picture of blood, and on the right,
yeah,
you've got pressure, because if you persuade or
yeah,
intimidate someone to do them, you're putting pressure on them. Okay, let's try the
yeah.
next one, see if people can get on a roll
Okay,
now. So
okay,
what about this one? So on the left, something's happening to that person. And on the right, we have the way 2 or more people are connected. What do you think that might be? And it is a factor.
okay. Yes.
So it's one of the
The person on
factors.
the left is experiencing what's happening to them. They're feeling quite. The people underneath. What are the people underneath doing to the person at the top? Antibodies. Oh no, not quite. Not quite. Yes, I
Quite a
sorry, I
good
forgot to
guess.
interpret the
I
chat.
can see where you're
Yes, it
getting from
is.
there. But no,
Yeah.
think about how they are helping that person.
Yes.
What are they doing for them? And then on the right, what does it mean in terms of the way
I
2 or
might
more people
I
are
might have to give a
connected?
clue here. Sorry, I'm going to have to
Go
give a
on
clue.
then.
So let's put it under social factor. Okay, let's put
Yeah.
this one under the category of social factor. So
Let's
2 or
see if
more people are
anybody.
connected, protecting and supporting. You're on the right track. Gosh, the supporting word is right. The supporting word is right on the
And
left.
it's a
Let's even just
social
shorten that
factor.
to support or supportive, because they're
Yeah.
being supportive, aren't they? So supportive. Let's think back to social factors. We've got 2 different types of relationships, don't we? I'm kind of really giving it away here a bit.
I think we need to put people out of their
Yeah,
misery, Rachel. Let's have a
yeah,
look.
yeah.
Supportive relationships. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, let's do one
Well
more.
done.
And
Yep.
yeah, so what about this one? We've got someone, what are they doing when they run on the treadmill? Okay, so they're doing something, they're running on the treadmill. You often call it, I'm going to do something. So you're not going to
Something
do weights,
exercise,
but you're going to
maybe?
do something
No.
else. Yeah. And then
Yep,
in the middle, we have, a whole body system. And then on
yep.
the right, a particular abnormal condition that adversely affects the structure or function of all or part of an organism. So what's happening to something when that is going
Mm.
on? Any ideas?
Exercising. Yes, we are. You're right. We're exercising, but this is kind of this is broken up into 3 words. So if you're doing aerobic exercise, is another term that we might use for that. Instead of calling it aerobic, we might call it a word starting with C. And then it looks like we've got a bit of a vascular system maybe in the middle. I'm not sure. Maybe. And then, disease. Yes, you're on the right track. Yes. So we're on
Okay,
the
so
right.
the last
Disease
word
is the
is
last. The
disease.
last word's correct. Yeah. So that last
So
word is correct. Charlotte's disease. So we've got something disease, something it's quite late on a Thursday night. We're probably a
I,
bit switched
I
off.
think we might have to
Yeah.
give it a go. Okay.
Yep.
I sometimes think it's really nice to see the answers to these, because then you go, oh yeah, okay,
Did
yeah,
think
she's
of that.
doing cardio. Isn't that what we call it? I'm going to do
Yep.
some cardio. So you've
Vascular.
got cardiovascular disease. Brilliant.
System. Yep.
Okay, so I think we've got maybe a true or false now.
Last question.
Quite nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So this light pollution, we've actually talked about light pollution a bit earlier, haven't we, with the other types of pollution. So it can cause an increased risk of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and some cancers. Is that statement true or false? What do you think, guys? Can light pollution do all of those things? Or does it just hurt your eyes? What do you think? So can I have a true or false in the chat?
Last, just a T or an F, maybe.
Last one to go. Okay, we've got some trues. Is it true? Let's have a look. So yes, it is true. Yeah, brilliant.
Well done.
Okay, so and the key thing with light pollution is that it's linked to circadian rhythm disruptions. Okay, so that basically means that you have a hormone imbalance of something called melatonin, and that can then lead to sleep disorders, and that can be a risk factor for those diseases. So the fact that you're not going to be sleeping very well can actually then make you more at risk of getting things like obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and some cancers. So well done, everyone.
Well done,
amazing.
Everyone.
So I think that was our last question for this evening. So thank you all for joining us. Rachel and I will be back. Yeah, we'll be back next Thursday, won't we, at the same time? And we will be looking at physiological indicators and lifestyle indicators as well. So moving a little bit further along in the paper. So if you're sitting your exam in January, please join us next Thursday. And thank you for joining us on this Christmas Jumper Day. So see you guys.
Thank you. Night.
Bye. Everyone.